morning, everyone, and welcome to our annual AGM. Although it's virtual this year, we do have an outstanding morning with speakers and presentations, and I'm sure you're all sitting at home watching this, as am I, so enjoy. I would like to say a big welcome to all of our realtors all the way from Ottawa, from Barrie Simcoe County, Durham, York Region, Toronto, and the GTA. We really do move Ontario. So it's been quite a year, as everyone will concur. I'd like to really congratulate all of you on the way that you have shown resilience and adapted to this market. It's been quite incredible to watch. And secondly, the staff. You know, this was something that wasn't predicted. How busy the market got, but the staff really have done an outstanding job, and I would like to thank them, as well as our leadership team who have stood by you every step of the way throughout this pandemic, and will continue to do so through 2021. So sit back, everybody, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Remax Hallmark 2021 annual virtual AGM. Every year around this time of the year, we celebrated our AGM at the different regions, Toronto, Ottawa, and Simcoe County. And every year I stood up on the stage and talked to you about the economy. But this year I'm quite excited. I'm excited because I have a great economist, Benjamin Tal, the Chief Deputy Economist of the CIBC Bank, who is joining us this morning, and he's going to share his insight about the 2021 and real estate. Benjamin has over 2 decades of the experience in the industry, and recently he was described by IMF International Monetary Fund as the most leading expert in the real estate industry. Good morning, Benjamin. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
How are you doing this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a beautiful day.
Fantastic. So, Benjamin, let's just start going back to March of the last year. So it was a bit of the surprise for everyone, and I'm sure for someone with your level of experience, it was quite a shock and a surprise in terms of the economy. If you can describe your thoughts in 3 words when in the March of the last year, the provincial government and federal government went to the state of the lockdown, what was going in your mind in terms of what's going to happen to our economy?
Yes, it was an unbelievable period because we have never seen anything like that. The economy basically froze. There is nothing in Economics 101 in textbooks that tell you that a model will work in this kind of environment because it's frozen. Nothing is happening. Nothing is moving. We have never seen anything like that. It was almost impossible to predict what will be and what the next day will be like. So that was a very interesting experience. And I think that what we have learned from the 2008 recession is that when you have a shock, policymakers have to move very, very quickly. One of the issues in the 2008 recession was that policymakers, governments, central banks were moving baby steps, a little bit. This time, learning from past experience, they moved big time. One day, they cut interest rates, they started moving. When I saw that, I was more optimistic. I knew that the market will react to low interest rates, to fiscal stimulus. My number one fear was that people will get desperate with no employment. That's why this injection of money into the system, government money, was essential. I was part of the discussion with the government suggesting, do it now, do it big, don't wait. We don't have time. We'll deal with it later. And I think that worked because we have seen a situation in which we stabilized. And then we have a situation in the housing market, for example, after 2 months of nothing, all of a sudden, everybody was out of the gate. As you know, in May, June, you know the story better than anybody else. Why? Because of the power of low interest rates and the pent-up demand and the fact that government money was there to stabilize the situation. So it was a very surreal experience. We have never seen anything like that, but it tells you how important it is to move quickly in a very decisive way.
Great points. So last 4 years has been quite difficult for the Canadian, particularly for the federal government and Canadian politician dealing with the US presidency, particularly with Mr. Trump, unorthodox way of handling the international and monetary funds. Tomorrow is inauguration day in US. What are your thoughts in terms of the now a new elect president, Joe Biden, and impact of his vision and his policy on a Canadian economy, and particularly the relationship of I would call it a triangle between US and Canada and China?
Yes, so first of all, yes, Trump is gone, but his supporters are not gone. We have to realize that what's happening in the US is a big story. And we cannot ignore the 75 million people that voted for Trump. It's a very divided country, which will make Biden's work very, very difficult. It's a very divided country, as we all know. And Trump was a voice for many people that were victim to globalization, victim to automation. And he was their voice. And their voice is still there. They are still unemployed or underemployed. That will not disappear. So the fact that Trump is leaving doesn't make much of a difference in terms of this reality of the American economy. That's the number one challenge facing, Biden. So that's one thing. The other, in terms of dealing with Canada, clearly, just yesterday they announced that Keystone is dead. He's going to do it tomorrow. And that's clearly something that Alberta is not happy about. But at the same time, we have to remember that he's going to introduce a lot of regulations on US energy that might ironically help Canadian energy to regain some market share. So it's not all negative. Overall, I expect much better relationship with Biden. He's going to introduce a significant amount of money into the system, $2 trillion injection in the first quarter. That will help the US economy and will prevent the Canadian economy from going down even deeper in the first quarter. They're going to spend a lot of infrastructure. We must find a way to get ourselves into the infrastructure umbrella, because at this point he's talking about just buy US, buy America. We have to convince them the way we convinced Obama back then, that buy North America is much better, so we can get ourselves into the supply chain space. So I suggest that overall it will be much easier for Canada to deal with Biden, but Biden will not be able to do everything he wants because he still deals with a Congress that is very split, and clearly the Senate is going to be problematic because at some issues you need 60 votes as opposed to 50 votes, and that will be difficult to get.
Great. So let's move now to our domestic issues. So in early March of the last year, like our unemployment skyrocketed. We had almost about 16% rate of unemployment, 3 million Canadian unemployed. As we move forward towards the 2020, the rate dropped drastically. Many of the jobs, they basically retracted, and we are now still sitting at about 8.5% and 9%. Majority of our unemployed sector are hospitality and the tourism business. And what is your thoughts on in terms of the impacting of some of these jobs or some of these businesses that they're going to completely disappear? And we are facing the affordability issue in Canada in terms of the housing, power of the purchasing. And now we are adding another equation of the unemployed sector that may shift this affordability to a severe pattern. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it is absolutely true, and that's a very keen observation, that this has been a very, very abnormal recession, asymmetrical recession. All the damage, 100% of job loss during this crisis were among low-wage workers. In fact, the number of jobs among high-income Canadians went up by 300,000. So it's a very asymmetrical story here that reflects the nature of the crisis, and absolutely right. It's hospitality, it's restaurants, it's the service sector. It's a service-oriented recession. So that's the bad news, and that's why government money was so important, because the unemployment rate there was extremely, extremely high, and you needed to support them. Also, this is a small business crisis. Many small businesses simply cannot continue to operate in this environment, and that's why we were pushing very hard for a reasonable rental solution for small businesses, in addition to wage subsidies, in order to make sure that the fixed cost is being taken care of. That was a failure, in my opinion, when it comes to dealing with small businesses, but that's another story. Now, the answer to your question is the following. To what extent COVID-19 is an event or a condition? If it is a condition, it will stay with us for the next 5 years, then it's an issue. But if it is an event, then I think that next year, when we have this conversation, the unemployment rate will be much, much lower than it is now. Why? Because the service sector is relatively easy to reignite. You see, in a normal recession, most of the decline is in the goods producing segment of the economy. This is not the case now. All the decline is in services. It is much easier to restart or start a new restaurant than to restart a new manufacturing facility. So the speed of the recovery will be much faster than any other recession. That's very, very important. So yes, many businesses, many restaurants will not survive, but others will start. And therefore, I believe that a year and a half from now, we will be back to where we were in 2019 or the early 2020 because of the speed. This has been very, very deep recession, but very narrow. And I think that's very, very important to understand. So there is another factor here that will help very, very quickly, is that we are sitting on a mountain of cash. What I mean by that is that most of the decline in consumption, in fact, 70% of the decline in consumption was among high-income Canadians. It's not that they don't want to spend, they can't. So they see their savings account, their checking account getting fatter and fatter. We sit on more than $100 billion of excess cash, sitting, looking for direction. They are dying to spend this money.
Interesting.
And the finance minister, I had a conversation with her, and she asked me, how do you suggest we convince people to spend this money? And I said, provide the vaccine and get out of the way. They don't need any motivation. They are motivated enough. Just give the vaccine and you will see the money being spent. And the money will be spent not on goods, because you can press a button and get the goods. The money will be spent on services exactly where you need the jobs. That's one of the reasons why I believe that the second half of the year will be very strong. But before that, we have to go through the winter, and we all know, nobody has any illusion. This is going to be a tough winter.
Yeah, for sure. $1 million question, for a practitioner in this industry for 25 years and someone that loved real estate investment, what was beside the interest rate, what do you think was the major fueling factor? Suddenly, as you mentioned, in June of last year, the real estate market skyrocketed, multiple offer. We are almost back to the era of the 2017. What do you see as why the Canadian society at large really has this major appetite towards the real estate and went on a shopping spree madness?
That's a very good question, and I think it makes sense if you think about it. First of all, I think that when you ask the layperson and would say, how come the housing market is so strong? They will say, of course, mortgage rates are very, very low. That's why. It is true that mortgage rates are very low, historically low. However, remember, in 2008, the market went down. Today, it didn't. In fact, today it was, you can say that this recession is the most housing market friendly recession ever in history. So why? The story about interest rates is true, but in 2008, They didn't know what B20 was. There was no stress test. Today there is. You know better than anybody else. I want a variable rate mortgage. I want a fixed rate mortgage. You have to qualify me at 479. Back then, you didn't have any qualification. So from a qualification perspective, interest rates today are actually higher than they were back then. And back then, the market went down. Today, it didn't. So it's not just about interest rates. It's about who is qualifying for those interest rates, namely people that can afford it. Going back to my previous point, that all the jobs, 100% of the jobs lost, were among low-wage individuals. Those are not home buyers, they are renters. That's why the rental market is down. At the same time, you have a very large segment of the population, much larger than any other recession, that was financially untouched by this crisis, financially. And interest rates are in the basement. They have their income. In fact, their income went up. They can qualify easily. And they say, you know what? We have been waiting for this opportunity for years. Those interest rates are a gift with my income still there. Usually interest rates go down when you lose your income. This way it was a win-win for those people. And that gave you the green light. So the secret behind the success of the housing market so far has been this abnormality of the recovery in the housing market, and the labor market, which is very, very important to understand. And that will be the case for the next a few months. I do believe that the housing market will soften with the recession, double-dip recession that we are experiencing now, but the fundamentals are still there. The money is there, the pent-up demand is there, and the ability is there, and interest rates will remain low for a while.
Fantastic. Great analogy. The way you put it together is brilliant. You touched earlier about the Canadian gotta retool themselves, reposition the employment and be a part of the supply chain. And considering the fundamental of the real estate is always has been a supply and demand, do you foresee that we have become a nation that our economy is dependent on immigration and real estate? Do you think is a sustainable model that we are going forward?
Well, I will not say that the economy is relying on real estate and immigration. It is relying on immigration, and immigration is one of the factors leading to a very strong real estate market, and that's sustainable. That's something that will continue. In fact, the opposite is the case. I think it will get even more aggressive. The reliance on immigration will rise because we are raising the targets. And therefore, the fundamentals of the housing market will not change. What we are seeing now is kind of, it was unmoved or it was frozen for a while. Then the gate was open and the pent-up demand was taking advantage of low interest rates and income, and we have seen the improvement. As I suggested, I suggest that some softness is coming in the next few months because of the winter, but the fundamentals will not change. And if I'm right about the very strong recovery in the second half, assuming a vaccine will be distributed, then you will see a very strong summer, even spring, in the housing market. Immigration is a very important part of it, and there is no reason to believe that the number of new immigrants will go down. Canada will have to work harder to get high quality new immigrants, because under Trump it was easier because he basically closed the doors. Biden is opening the doors, so we'll have to make ourselves more attractive to those high quality new immigrants. I think we can do it.
Fantastic. So let's talk about a little bit of basically, we were listed essential. Our industry was listed essential. And contrary to many critics, they thought maybe we shouldn't be essential. Was there any, from your talks with the government level or with the ministerial level, was there any reason behind it that the real estate industry was considered as an essential industry?
Well, that's a very good point. And I think that the thinking was basically, if you don't need to shut it down, don't shut it down. And you guys were extremely creative in putting together kind of a system in which you can really visit a house without being in the house. So you reduced really physical engagements, and that's something that the government was very, very encouraged by. Basically, you can let this system work without compromising safety. So you guys really were very, very creative in this space, and I think that was the secret. If you basically say, I need to have open house and 10 people have to come at the same time, the government will have said, no, you cannot do that. You simply were able to outmaneuver the government, and I think that was a good thing.
So spending, as you said, one of the best things the government, provincial and federal government did, stimulus, really encouraged basically didn't create the panic. Consumer mindset, confidence was really high. So eventually, either us or the future generation has to pay for this debt. What do you foresee as the federal and provincial government, what step they should take to balance the book maybe in years to come?
Well, what I think is happening is the following. Let's put things in perspective. We all know the numbers. The budget deficit is rising to close to $400 billion. The debt level is about 1.2. The debt to GDP ratio went up from 30 to about 50%. Now, the good thing, we started this crisis at a relatively good base when it comes to the debt level relative to other countries, so we were able to do so. Nevertheless, as you rightly said, we have to pay back at one point. At this point, the Bank of Canada is buying a lot of those bonds, so the Bank of Canada is acting as a government agency, if you wish. At one point, that will stop. That's the quantitative easing that is keeping interest rates very, very low. So who is going to pay for it? In the short term, of course, nobody, because we have a situation in which interest rates are so low, the government is simply recycling this money. You know, the debt level went up dramatically, and interest payments on the debt actually went down. It's like taking a mortgage that is double the size and pay less interest on that mortgage because interest rates are so low. In fact, interest payments on the debt went down by $4 billion this year or last year. That's amazing, given the fact that the debt level went up to more than $1.2 trillion. So that's one thing. So short term, we can handle it. Long term, clearly it means that the society, like households, like your clients, are getting more sensitive to the risk of higher interest rates. And this means that you have to prevent this kind of shock. So one, the disease is also the cure. The increased sensitivity to higher interest rates will prevent interest rates from rising to the sky. I believe that even after interest rates start rising, and they will rise, they will not rise to the same levels that we have seen before the crisis. That's one thing. The other is that clearly with spending, government spending, before the crisis was 15%, went to 30% now, which makes sense. It will go down for sure, we know that. But it will stabilize, let's say at 17, 18% from 15%. This increase is a permanent increase because without even knowing that, we are putting together now the infrastructure, the plumbing for tomorrow's social assistance program. We're talking about a situation in which we're talking about universal daycare. That will cost money. Some elements of universal basic income, that will cost money. The modified EI system will be more expensive. That costs money, which means that government spending will see a notable increase as a share of the economy on a permanent basis. At one point, you have to pay for it. And this point will not be today, not tomorrow, not next year, not even 2 years from now. But at one point, it will start. And I think that the government will choose to raise some taxes. And they already raised taxes on big tech. They already raised taxes on options. And their desire will be to focus on capital gain. So it will be more a higher inclusion rate on capital gain. I think it will not include real estate. It will be more financial capital gain. They will go maybe after dividends. Maybe they will go take some carbon money and bring it back to general usage. And if they are totally desperate, they will go after the HST, and they might raise it by 1 or 2% because that will bring you a lot of money. That's what I see maybe in 2023, 2024, as we are safely removed from the crisis.
Fantastic. So my next question is sort of twofold. So technology, COVID caused that many businesses adopt technology, Zoom, working at home. And we saw in our industry mass exodus of the consumers selling their properties within the city of Toronto and moving to the suburb or moving to other urban center. We have noticed major growth in larger urban centers such as Ottawa, Simcoe County, Durham region. Do you foresee this exodus does continue, or do you see there will be a retraction of the people coming back again to the core? And the second part of the question, your thoughts about the condo market.
So that brings me back to my basic question, which is an event versus a condition. That's the way to think about it from a long-term perspective, I believe. Every crisis, and that's very important to understand when you communicate it to your clients, every crisis is a trend accelerator. And this crisis is not very different. This trend of people moving from 416 to other areas was there before. It was just very slow. And then it was accelerated. And it was accelerated for obvious reasons. People wanted to be in detached homes, and they wanted to be away from core, and working from home allows you to do so. That makes sense, and that's reasonable, and that's a trend that started before. However, when you are in a situation, you tend to exaggerate the long-term implications of this situation, and we are in a situation. I believe that this kind of activity will continue over the winter because we will be in the situation. But when the sun starts shining, April, May, June, and we see the light getting closer and closer, and the end of this crisis, people will take a close look and say, you know what? I can get, for the same price I'm paying in Durham or Kitchener, a very nice place in 416 in the city. What I'm saying is we might reach a resistance price level outside the city that will make people think twice about this move. I also believe that the office model is not dead. Office will remain the central piece of working life. It will be a different model. There will be reduced demand for office space for sure, but you will be spending 3-4 days a week in the office. I will do the same. I suggest that maybe rush hour is almost a primitive notion, because who says that I have to be in the office at 9 o'clock and leave at 5? So it will be more flexible. My first meeting will be from home, and then I'll go to the office. It will be very flexible, but office will remain an issue and a very important part, which means that demand for space downtown will remain high, especially among young people, professionals. So to me, all this means that I see some reversal of this trend that we have seen over the past year in the coming year or two. And I will not suggest that this is a permanent change. This is basically a continuation of a trend that we have seen, but was accelerated and will go back. Therefore, I'm not really negative on 416 or 905 on the GTA as a whole. I think the opposite is the case. Immigration will come to the city, not elsewhere. That's where the jobs are. So I think that's the way to look at it, and we should not exaggerate the real estate implications of working from home. It will be there, but it will not change the model. Therefore, I see 2022 or 2023 as a continuation of 2019.
Fantastic. My last question, Benjamin, is what do you see in the future on a horizon in 2021, possibly going even to first the half of the 2022 for real estate? And what's your advice for many of our viewers, of a realtor and their clients, how to navigate the frenzy of the market that, as you and I both, we believe that will continue in 2021 and potentially for 2022?
So first of all, I think that you can count on relatively low interest rates, especially variable rates will remain low for a long period of time until maybe late 2022, early 2023, both in Canada and the US. The 5-year rate will rise a little bit, but governments and central banks will try to cap this increase. So the widening between fixed and variable will not be very dramatic because they do need to see the housing market continuing to do well. So that's the interest rate story. So don't panic about interest rates are low now and you have to do it now. You have a little bit of time. That's one thing. The other is a situation in which I think that the winter will be weak. I will not take December as an example of how strong the market is, because on a year-over-year basis, you compare December of last year where people were traveling to December of this year, people stayed home, didn't know what to do. Okay, so I'll buy a house. So this kind of year-over-year is really misleading. We are in a double-dip recession. The economy is shrinking by 2% now, which means that the housing market will soften a little bit. It will not go down, but it will soften a little bit. You will not see this kind of sales because we are all kind of getting a bit safer at this point. So that's the winter. I think that the spring will be relatively strong, and I think that the summer will be very strong, assuming, of course, a vaccine distribution at a normal rate. So I suggest that be ready for a relatively strong spring and clearly strong summer. And if you want to do some homework, do it during the winter to get ready for this kind of environment in an environment of relatively low interest rate.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. Great seeing you as always. I'm sure our audience, they really enjoyed your insight. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the next presenter, Deborah Bain. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Morning, Nick. How are you?
Hi, Deborah. I'm doing great.
Good, good. So for everyone watching, I would like to do, just a quick bio of who you are. So Nick has a very vast experience in real estate, starting off as a realtor as a very young age, broker. You've been licensed for 23 years. You moved past that and you were vice president at Zillow. And most recently, you were president and CEO at Century 21. In 2019, you decided to come back to Remax, and you are now their chief customer officer. So what exactly is that?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. No, it's been interesting. I tell people, if someone would have held up a map when I got licensed when I was 21 and said, this is how your career is going to go, I would have said you were crazy. But thrilled, I have to say, though. I've spent almost 12 years at Remax headquarters, and the turn of events that led me back are pretty incredible. And I get asked all the time, so why did you come back to Remax after being around the industry so long? And I have to tell you, it's comes down to a number of reasons, but the number one standout is the quality of the Remax agent. And I say it all the time, the barriers of entry to our business, as you well know, are low. The barriers of success in this business are very high. And what I mean by that is statistically, for my data friends out there, 87% of agents churn out of our business 5 years after they get licensed. I mean, that's a small number of success. And what you find is because of the high quality of the Remax agent, they average 2 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, depending on the local area, or sometimes even more in terms of how many buyers and sellers they work with. And it is just a different caliber of agent within our industry.
Well, I can
that I like
certainly
being
say
surrounded
that's
with.
true at Hallmark, for sure. The
Yeah, and
caliber
look
of our
at
agents is outstanding.
your company is like one of the leading brokerages around the world, and of course within the Remax system. And so your folks will understand just as much when I mean quality of the Remax agent, quality of the Remax leadership and company. It's a big deal.
Mhm. So why don't we dive into, we've had a very tumultuous past year. And what do you think that your big takeaway from 2020 has been?
Yeah, so let me weave into my 2020, and I'm going to back it up a little bit, kind of to the evolution of the business that I think 2020 shined a spotlight on, which was the evolution of what we've experienced over, I would say, a good decade and a half, which is the evolution of the consumer experience in real estate. And what I mean by that, I talk a lot about when I started with MLS books, and maybe some of your folks did too. It was all about
Sure.
there were 3 steps. There was the customer, there was the agent that held that book, and then there was the house. And in order to get to that house, they had to go through the agent in that order. And the agent and the house have flipped positions today. Now it's the consumer, house, agent. And it's the idea of, I know agents have experienced that. A consumer says, I found this listing online, I want to see it. And that consumer evolution continues to evolve. And a lot of it's driven by tech. And I think what 2020 really did is shined a spotlight on the fact that the agent isn't going anywhere. Technology is not replacing the value of the trusted advisor. And that showed so true. Buyers and sellers needed agents more in 2020 than I think they have in years before. And we live in a noisy industry, right? Shiny objects, noise, what's happening. And the agent is the most important part of the transaction. But as the evolution continues, it's how are we going to continue to evolve the transaction process, the consumer experience? Because let's face it, buying and selling a house, when people get to the closing table, most say, I don't want to do this again anytime soon. And one of my favorite surveys was a couple of years ago that I was involved with. We asked buyers about their experience. 60% of buyers said at the closing table they would rather have a root canal than buy another house. Right?
Really?
That's a low bar. And so I think we've got a future ahead of us on the consumer evolution, especially how we involve tech and put the agent at the center.
So what do you think the biggest evolution of our business is?
You know what's funny about this? In the last 10 years, like the most innovative thing about real estate, e-signature. E-signature and paperless transactions. That
Well,
doesn't
especially
sound
last year.
yeah, especially last year. It doesn't sound overly glamorous. E-signature, really? But what last year proved is agents are on the go. The word virtual is now the buzzword of last year and this year. And the reality is, I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves, and this is going to sting a little bit, but none of this technology was new going into 2020. But it was maybe new to a lot of agents because we are actually fairly slow to adopt some of these advancements in our business. We are. And so my advice for agents is take what happened last year. We were forced into a situation to use video. We were forced into a situation to use more paperless. We were forced in a world to show houses more virtually. And by the way, that's continuing right now. And the agents that are adopting those habits are the ones that blew the doors off of records. We have some record-setting agents from last year, and there will be more this year. Those that furloughed themselves are not open to these new ideas. They're going to be left behind. So we've got to have that mindset of progress.
Yeah, and I think that many agents last year had their best year ever, which just goes to show the resilience and creativity and the stick-to-itness that they all have. At the beginning of the year, many were frightened, didn't know what was about to happen. And it took a couple of months for the market to bounce back. But when it did, there was no stopping them. So, it was pretty.
And to your point, you're exactly right. And as soon as some of the stay-at-home type of orders started to take place. And we're talking right now, and you're in a strict one. We just came out of a very strict one a few weeks ago. So we're going to have a continuation of this for a few months. But what we realized is agents can't freeze. And what we saw is, of course, we had amazing growth in Remax. We're nearly 140,000 agents in over 110 countries. And here's what I saw, because I was on these meetings. I was in more brokerages in front of more agents virtually than probably 5 years prior combined. And here's what I saw. People were leaning on each other in other countries. We talked to Dario in Italy and said, what's happening? You're 4 weeks ahead of us. What's happening with your agents? And that is so much the power of the system. Is real estate's competitive, but we put our arms around each other and share ideas. And I was on a call, true story, and there was another broker that was with an unaffiliated company. And she said, I have a question. Where can I go to get resources about maybe virtual technology and ways to communicate with my agents? My mind went, phew. We were already lighting up free Zoom accounts for people. We already had virtual tours. We had Box Brownie, Matterport, all those companies. They were already helping our agents with their business. Yeah. And so I really saw the power of the Remax brand and network come alive, unfortunately, in a negative situation, but it was huge.
I think that the brokerages that were able to pivot really quickly. I mean, we jumped into virtual training, Zoom classes, very, very fast. And I think we did over 70 different classes last year, and the agents really loved it. They leaned into it. They learned a lot, whereas maybe in a regular year, they wouldn't have had time for so much training. So it was fantastic. And as a brokerage, we've had to pivot as well. I mean, you know, not only going online with our agents, doing online awards, but we're going paperless. And, you know, if we hadn't gone paperless, it would have been a whole different ballgame. You know, it would have been very difficult. So change is hard.
It is, but I got to tell your agents though, if you haven't loved on your broker, if you haven't called Deborah Ken and said thank you, I mean, being a broker last year, I know it was hard as an agent, but I also saw, and my hats off to you guys for your leadership, being progressive, moving quickly and turning, because not everybody did. And they suffered as a result, but that's why.
Well, our leadership certainly stood up, I have to say. Our COO, Steve DeBreezy, took the bull by the horns, and really he made such a huge difference to last year for all of us. So.
Well, I compliment you for that. And then, you know, the next question is, okay, what do we learn and how do we apply it to 21? Because we do believe there's pent-up demand. Most areas still have low listing inventory. There's a price war at entry-level price ranges in most markets. And look at the markets you're in. Oh my gosh, the prices are mind-blowing and they continue to rise. We're still going to see some of that in 21. And the question is, what did we take away from last year that we're going to apply to this year? And I think there are a couple of things. One, paperless, we cover that. Two is the virtual piece of it. Here's what we're seeing as a trend. Virtual tours were always, not always, for many years have been available. But because of low days on market, agents started getting away from them. But what's happening now is consumer studies and behavior are showing that instead of agents going to look at 15, or consumers, buyers going to look at 15 houses, they're spending a lot more time online, as they have been, looking at a virtual experience, eliminating maybe 10 of those, and then just going to see 5 before making a decision. I do not believe that houses are going to be just bought sight unseen virtually. There are a few that took place.
Yeah.
People still want to see it, smell it, touch it, see where they're going to live, raise a family, but they're going to use virtual tools. And so we have to be mindful of how we make our listings look the very best as compared to our competitors, because it's going to draw more consumers to our listings.
Yeah, and our agents excel at that. So anyway, Nick, I want to thank you very much for coming and Zooming with us this morning. And I'm sure all our Hallmark agents are now happy to have met you, and we'll watch for you online. I know that you do quite a few things for LLC. So thank you very much. Appreciate your
My
time.
pleasure. And I just had a plug. Come see us on Good Morning Remax. It's like every other Tuesday morning. They're on the We Are Remax public Facebook page. We have some incredible guests. It does cater to kind of a worldwide audience. So if you want to keep in touch with us, because we have some new things that we're going to be announcing for agents in this first quarter, a little bit of a tease, but congratulations to all your success last year, and wish you a great meeting with everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, Hallmarkers! Those were some stellar numbers in 2020. Let's take a moment to appreciate all of our efforts to stay in front of things that were beyond our control. None of that would have been possible without the company we keep. Yes, that was meant to be a little tongue-in-cheek. But seriously, when we first learned of the pandemic and the 2-week shutdown last March, we did not wait like many other people did, hoping that everything would be back to normal in 2 weeks. We launched ourselves into a new reality. And we all learned how to adapt to those new realities. And even though some of us may have been kicking and screaming, I can say that we didn't leave anyone behind that was actually ready, willing, and able to have help. So we were there to provide that help for anyone that was looking for it. We also found the silver lining in our situation, because being online across our regions put us in front of new people, new ideas, and the opportunity to have a larger variety of talent in our virtual classrooms to share ideas and strategies with you. So we now have a robust library of learning available on demand that you can plug into for new ideas and inspiration when it works for you. Because let's be real, some of us are homeschooling, some of us are juggling more than ever, so we really need to have flexibility to stay in front and to be on our game, so we have that. This year, 2021, we want to set ourselves apart in the industry again. The theme this year is engagement. In the virtual world, that means cameras on, mics on, ready to be engaged and involved in our online meetings and classrooms. We will be offering the ABR and the SRS again online this year. If you're online right now and you took one of those courses last year, let's hear from you in the chat. Let other people know how that went for you. It's not easy to spend 4 half days online to do a designation course. But these courses filled up within 2 days, and you were there. You showed up, you suited up, you learned, and you took what you learned and you went out there in the field and, crafting your skills. So good on you for doing that. I'll also be presenting a seniors course this month. So have a look at the schedule for that. They'll be released at the end of this month. So do go to trainingandevents.ca to find out what's in store. Next week, we have some very special sessions online. Would you like to learn how to host and run a multiple offer night using Zoom technology? Again, we want to lead the market. Being able to create an online experience for our clients and colleagues is going to help us do that. So look for that in the schedule next week. Limited spots available, but we will be rerunning that session until everyone's had the opportunity to take it. How about TikTok, Reels, and Clubhouse for realtors? As always, we have generous talent at Remax Hallmark that participate in our peer-to-peer programming, and 3 of those amazing people will be joining us next week to present this session on Tuesday at 1 p.m. And hey, if you're interested in getting involved this year in our peer-to-peer programming, drop me a line, barbara@remaxhallmark.com. I would love to get you involved in our course development and our training this year. So back to our theme of engagement, we started Mentor Mondays last year for new salespeople less than 2 years in the business, and it's gone so well that we're going to be launching monthly mastermind groups based on award levels in February. So a shout out to all of you that are award recipients. That is our Executive Club, our 100% Club, our Platinum Club, our Chairman Club, our Titan Club, and of course, let's not forget our Diamond and Beyond. So if you are an award winner at Remax Hallmark, look forward to those mastermind sessions starting in February. Now you're going to have a place to go every month to talk to your peers across all of our regions, to share ideas, get help with challenges, and also to hold each other accountable. So I look forward to an exciting year ahead in career development at Remax Hallmark. I look forward to seeing you all online until such time as we can be back in class. So it looks like we have tools and tech next with Jonder.
Hey Hallmarkers, John Perez here with a technology update for you. I've got two exciting developments that I'm going to be sharing with you during this presentation. First one is the We Are Hallmark app. This is a much anticipated app that I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing about during our office meetings, as well as the Broker Logic Business Suite, a really interesting piece of technology that's going to allow you to take control over your business and run your business all in one place. So let's get started. The We Are Hallmark Real Estate app is going to give you the power of real estate data in your hands. A lot of you have been anticipating this, and now it's finally here for you to be able to use. Let's have a look at some of the features that are available with the We Are Hallmark app. First of all, you're going to be able to browse the listings for each of our regions. This is going to be something that you'll be able to give to your clients so that they are able to browse and have a look at listings. There's going to be custom search filters, and they're going to be able to search for favorite listings as well when they put in the criteria that they're looking for. Each listing is very detailed with feature-rich graphics that are available for each of the listings that they're browsing. And there's going to be a lot of data, just like what you would find on the MLS. All of the data, including historical solds and various information about neighborhoods, are going to be available when they look at each listing. Now, part of the feature of the We Are Hallmark app is the ability for your clients to be able to calculate their mortgage payments. So as you can see here, they can estimate the mortgage payments depending on the down payment that they have, depending on the amortization, the interest rates, and the frequency. And you'll be able to see a breakdown of the various years of amortization for their mortgage. You're also going to be able to use this as an investment analysis tool. So based on the data that we are receiving from the board, now each board might be different, you're going to be able to assist your investor clients assess how rentable a property is and what kind of cash flow they can generate. So you'll be able to produce cash flow projections based on rental income. You'll also be able to calculate commute time to various key neighborhood destinations that your clients like. Now, here's a big question that many of you have been asking. Where do I get sold data? Do my clients have to go to all of these other real estate apps in order for them to be able to find sold data? The answer is no. My question for you is, do you want sold data? You got it. With this app, you're going to be able to give your clients the ability to browse sold listings. In fact, as you show houses, you're going to be able to actually load up a map and you'll be able to show the sold data that's available within that particular area. Clicking on any one of these particular sold listings will actually be able to pull up the listing, show you how much the property has sold for, and give you some more information about the properties that have sold. So you no longer have to rely on other apps or other websites. In fact, each and every single one of you, once you download this app and once you share this app to your clients, sold data is now in your hands. You'll also be able to see price trends community reports, market charts, and school rankings. So as you're browsing for properties for your clients, and as you're also sharing this app with your clients so that they can also browse for listings, they're going to be able to see all of the market data for each particular region or neighborhood or area they're interested in. And they're also going to be able to learn about what schools are in that area and what the school rankings are. Now here's a couple of neat features that are available to you. There's a home worth button in there so that your clients can click on the button and request a home evaluation. They'll be able to see, of course, the price trends, schools, their favorite listings. Now here's the key part. I mentioned to you that this app is free. Now what you don't know until now is that each and every single one of you can actually empower your client to choose you as their realtor. So basically, once your client downloads this app from the App Store or from for Android, they'll be able to choose you as their agent. And once they've selected you as their agent, all communication, all favorite listings, any inquiries, whether it's home evaluation inquiries or listing inquiries, all of them will be directed to you. And absolutely, this is free to each and every single one of you. Later on, we will be announcing a premium version for those of you who are BrokerLogic Business Suite subscribers so that you have your own fully customized app. But with this Hallmark free app, with the We Are Hallmark free app, each and every single one of you can download this app, share it with your clients, have them select you as their agent, and you'll be able to connect with them. The official launch of this app is February 1st, 2021, so stay tuned. There will be an email announcement to every single one of you who are excited about this, and it will be available on iOS and Android. Let's talk about the BrokerLogic Business Suite now. This is a Remax Hallmark exclusive, and this is something that many of you have also been waiting for and very excited about. The BrokerLogic Business Suite features an all-in-one business management center, which gives you access to Hallmark Hub, all of our Remax Hallmark resources, and it's a comprehensive feature-filled solution that allows you to manage your real estate business all in one place. Basically, you'll have access to things such as news and blog content for easy posting. You have content management for your website, so you can customize certain features of it. Part of the feature of the BrokerLogic Business Suite is a monthly newsletter. Every single month, a newsletter is generated for you that you can send out to your clients. It's customizable, so you can put in your custom information there as well. But it includes market stats, includes articles, and this is something that you can send out to your entire database on your CRM. BrokerLogic Business Suite also features a full graphic suite. So basically, you can choose from pre-designed marketing pieces, greeting cards, just listed, just sold cards, marketing brochures, and marketing updates. This is a very easy and convenient way for you to share information with your clients and, in fact, just send them greetings. BrokerLogic also includes an automated CMA. So all you have to do with this particular feature is type in the existing MLS number for any listing on the market, and you'll be able to see recently sold comparables and learn market data in an instant. You also have access to a full selection of market data. So basically, you'll have market data for each market area. You're going to see price trends and sales data. You get to gauge how the market is doing. And in fact, you'll be able to narrow it down to community. So when you go to in the community level, you'll see instant community market reports. Click and choose any particular community you want to see, and you'll be able to download and share these features with your clients. There's an exclusive Remax Hallmark price for each and every single one of you to take advantage of to sign up for BrokerLogic Business Suite, and that's only $59 per month. Now, how do you sign up? Visit signup.wearehallmark.com in your favorite web browser, and then you complete the registration process. You receive an email confirmation. When you receive that email confirmation, the website is active, and this happens immediately. What you do then is follow the email to complete the registration. Depending on which board you're in, there's a certain number of steps that you have to take to make sure that your listings go live. Contact Sunny Sanford for more details, virtual assistant at remaxhallmark.com. And in the following video, I'm going to show you a quick registration process. Through the registration process for the BrokerLogic Business Suite. First, we go to the website signup.wearehallmark.com, and you'll find the registration page. Here you'll type in your first name, your last name, your email address, and your phone number, and then you get to select your password. Once you've done that, you can continue to work on your profile. So choose your designation. Choose the brokerage that you're with. So depending on which region you are, you'll be able to choose the appropriate brokerage for you. Enter your office address and postal code. Now this is an important part of the process. Make sure you choose the correct board that you are a member of and enter your membership number. Once you press continue, there will be a confirmation page that will show you the terms of service. And once you agree to it and you type in your full name and your city as well as a date, you'll be able to click on the register button, and the BrokerLogic Business Suite will be working to create your website. Now, what's going to happen next? Once you receive your email, you're going to be able to take the appropriate steps to be able to register with the board that you are a member of. So make sure you check your email, read it carefully, register step by step with the board that you are a member of in order for your BrokerLogic Business Suite website to be fully activated. Thank you for watching this technology update with Remax Hallmark, and I'm looking for an exciting year ahead with each and every single one of you. If you have any ideas of technology you'd like to see us implement, feel free to reach out to any one of us at the leadership team. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic 2021.
Hello and good morning, Remax Hallmark, and Happy New Year. This past year has been a tough one. During a year when none of us had a playbook on how to operate in these unprecedented times, you stood tall through it all and brought strength to your customers and your communities during a time when they needed it the most. When many of our customers were afraid to leave their homes, you were who your customers shared their dreams and homes with. On behalf of TD Canada Trust and all of the TD mortgage specialists that work with Remax Hallmark, we wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for your continued partnership and everything you've done this past year to help Canadians realize their dreams and home ownership. We are so proud to partner with Remax Hallmark, and we're looking forward to a successful 2021. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's Mitch here from Corman & Company, your go-to real estate lawyers. I must say 2020 was a challenging year for us and for everybody else associated with our industry, but we persevered and we came through it, and we actually had a great year. And that great year is thanks to your support. Remax Hallmark has been unbelievable, and it's been really a true team effort in everybody involved in making 2020 a success. Looking forward to 2021. It's going to be great. It's going to be challenging, but it will be great. And my team at Corman & Company, the 11 lawyers, 23 support people, we're here for you, because after all, your success is our success. So thank you, Remax Hallmark. Thank you for everything.
Good morning, Hallmarkers. Alain Lavoie from Capital Home Lending. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate each and every one of you on another banner year. Hallmark is a world-class company, and we are blessed to work with a group of professionals such as yourselves who carry themselves with the utmost integrity. I call it swagger, and you guys have swagger. I would like to share a quote that resonates with me. It says that between the great things we cannot do and the small things that we will not do is the danger that we shall do nothing. I can tell you that Hallmark as a company and you are all individuals that will never do nothing. You change people's lives through the families that you serve and through the communities that you help. And we at CHL are honored and humbled to continue to support you in your business and endeavors. I wish everyone health, continued success, and a great 2021 at Remax Hallmark.
Good morning and hello, Hallmarkers. I'm Azira from Prime Service Insurance. I wanted to start by saying congratulations to you all on your successes and achievement in 2020. We are blessed to work with such great professionals. I know it has been very trying year, but we've all adopted and come through with great successes. Well done. We'd like to thank you for your support this past year, and I wanted to remind you that we are here to help you and your clients for any or all of their insurance needs. We are at Prime Services are humble and honored to serve you and your community. Thank you. Looking forward to great 2021.
Good morning. I'm Michael McLaughlin, broker manager at Remax Hallmark. 2020 was a challenging year in the real estate industry. We had to thrive in a rapidly changing market, both up and down, with severe limitations on how we could conduct our business. From the brokerage side, the logistics of processing 22,000 transactions a year is complicated enough when we don't have to deal with work from home orders and extreme variability in the number of transactions month to month. Our realtors excelled and provide exceptional service to their clients, guiding them through challenging marketplaces. We learned some important lessons in 2020, and it's caused us to work hard to strengthen our business to serve our realtors and their clients in the future. Some of the big changes affected how and when we could serve our public in the office, the introduction of help desk, centralized phone system, in addition to the branch support staff to reduce time on hold for phone calls and allow for recording of calls and to make sure we were always available to pick up the phone. And the continued investment in technology such as Broker Bay and SkySlope to offer speed, transparency to listings, appointments, and transactions. So with that said, we're excited to announce a few of the very recent improvements. Streamlining banking to allow deposits using bill payment option for most banks to accept deposits in our trust accounts in all of our regions. Reaching out to our partners in the real estate transaction to push for more electronic transfers so checks don't get delayed in the mail. We've also hired more staff to offer better support and serve you better remotely, and when we're available to invite the public back into our offices. And soon to be implemented, the created a dedicated communication team hotline in the deals department for each region that will be able to field questions about transactions directly. We're also excited to announce the launch of our in-house virtual assistant program for unlicensed activities, calling for feedback, broker loading, listing management, and any of your other administrative activities that you wish to delegate, all offered at a competitive a la carte rate. Watch for the announcement in early February. This year, we're going to be putting a big emphasis on delivering exceptional customer service as a brokerage for you and your clients. We're going to make 2021 the year of customer service at Remax Hallmark, making the experience of transacting in real estate as seamless and easy as possible, and allowing our realtors to go out and do what they do best, serve their client. Have a great day.
Ken McLaughlin here. I'm so pleased and humbled to be able to be talking to you today. What a fantastic AGM. What an amazing, incredible, different year we've had, 2020. I'm so proud of how everybody's handled it, how you've gone through it, how you're getting through this COVID thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's real for us. It's not going away. But you know what? We've changed. The one thing about COVID that I've learned from it, and being never having a pandemic before. It was the adaptation of it and how we were able to pivot and change and go on that way. So fantastic. Keep up the good work. We're going to get through this. The belief system is that it's going to be okay, and it is going to be okay is really important. I was asked today to speak about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And frankly, I've never classified myself as an entrepreneur, but I guess in the sense that I am. I think that part of being an entrepreneur is never really thinking that you are one. For me, I don't think that I really am that person. I know that what I believe strongly is that failure has never been an option for me. I know that I didn't envision my life, even as a young person, that I would have a failure from it. I would know that, I always knew that if I developed enough and I put my energy into it, my faith into it, and I kept doing the best I could for people, that it wouldn't fail. I don't know what I would have, but I knew it wasn't going to be a failure for me. So I really, my strong belief system is that failure is not an option at all. I needed to figure out along the way that, and I did at an early age, that I had to enjoy the work that I was doing. I knew that the journey of what I was doing had to be good, not just the getting there on it, if that makes any sense. I really developed a mechanism in place that I had to strive to be happy, enlisted with the work I'm doing, enticed by the work I'm doing, challenged by the work I'm doing, and really in tune with the work I'm doing for people on that. So I developed that at an early age, just really to do that. I really decided too that somewhere along the way that I was going to spend as much time as I could doing the things that I was really good at and spending little time at things I wasn't good at. So I've told this story before. If you would have told me way back then that I had to spend my time cold calling to be a success in this business, I would not have been a success, whatever that means, in this business at all, because I wouldn't have done that. I don't like cold calling, but there are a lot of great people that do, and that's a different story. But so what I've done over the years, and I encourage people to do now, is to spend as much time as you can at the things that you're extremely good at, or you can be extremely good at, and things that you enjoy. So I was good at meeting people, getting out there, connecting with people, and doing that. So I spent most of my time doing that. And everything else, I delegated to other people that were extremely good at it, the administration part, the follow-up stuff, and things like that. So I really encourage you to spend as much time, more time doing things that you're good at and less time doing things that you don't enjoy. Because if you spend time doing things you don't enjoy, this business is not that gratifying. It could be hurtful for you. It could be a difficult business for you. So really focus on good things like that. You should spend, and I've spent a lot of my time driving my business activities. I really was focused on, is this going to get me the return I want to have for the business I like to have in my life? Am I going to spend my time around the water cooler complaining, or am I going to spend my time driving business, connecting with people that can help me? I had, at an early age of this business, in selling real estate, I had a nucleus of people that supported me, clients out there that I knew could really impact my business. So I spent most of my time with these clients. So I identified what was important to me. I identified that it was business that was going to drive my business, and I spent most of my time doing that. So when I delegated everything else out. So it was a transition that I did, and I really still do to this day completely. I had a realization, I think, at the age of 40, and it was really a strange, I never forget it. It was something that I just bolted out of bed, and I realized that I was 40 years, and in 25 years, I was going to be 65. And I realized at that point that I had realization that I couldn't waste those 25 years. I didn't want to waste those 25 years. I can taste it today. The thought I had at that time was that I wasn't going to get these 25 years back. So I wanted to make the most I could of it. So I think that was the start of the real big growth for me. It's the realization that we're all here for an indefinite time. We have to make the best of it. We have to make the best of it for ourselves, for our family, for our communities, for our country, and all that other stuff. So I really had that realization at that time that I had to dig down and enjoy it, because I wasn't going to get those years back again. So I encourage you to have that self-talk with yourself, that are you doing the best you can with the time you have in your life? And are you making a difference on that? So that was a big, big step for me to do that. One of the things I have a habit of doing as well which has helped me is I make the decision to add at least one new capability to my life every year. So I kind of layer things on top of my life. The capabilities or the strategies that I have are wheels if your bicycle spokes and a wheel on it. So I added new capabilities, and I add these new capabilities through my personal life and through my business life and through my family. Capabilities might be an example of actually getting there and becoming really good at speaking, for instance, for my business, or really be good at social media, or really be good at whatever it is. But it's a new capability. Capability might be connecting with absentee landlords. I want to be the expert with that stuff. I want to be the expert in mortgaging and stuff like that. So adding a new skill to my business was really important to me and has been in my business forever. I always add things onto it. So I'm learning as I'm going. And I keep these capabilities growing at the time all the time. In my personal life, the capabilities might be scuba diving this year, or it might be whatever. This year it's going to be Peloton. I am going to be the best Peloton participant in the world out there. So follow me if you can. I don't get it till the end of January. I believe it's going to be, my handle is Really Life, but I'll be sharing my trips, and my commitment is to be really, really engaged and adding that as a new capability in my life. One year I decided to do marathons. That was another capability. So grow yourself, keep doing things, add new capabilities at all times. They're really, really important to growth on things. Another thing that really has helped me to be who I am in my business life is I dumbed it down a lot. I didn't get overwhelmed with the big picture of things. Like, I think a lot of us can get scared with that. For me, it was always dealing with what was in front of us with the long-term vision of what's going to happen. So I really didn't let problems overwhelm me. I dealt with them. I deal with them that way. I encourage you to really not to get too whacked out about it. I think somebody said today, Barb Brindo, in one of the comments I read, that, you know what, we all have days that we have problems and things, and we can have a problem that surfaces for 20 minutes today that shouldn't define your whole day for you. So I really want you to really not get overwhelmed with things, dumb it down as best you can, in the sense that it's not to be overwhelming for you, because we tend to get in this business overwhelmed as more than any other business I can imagine going forward. So be really careful with that. Get excited about your life as well, and get to work. You know, I had a time back in the 80s that I was really frustrated with this business, and I wasn't going anywhere. I was just really not making any money. I was, you know, and somebody took me aside and said, you know, quit focusing on the results and focus more on your actions. So when I freed up that thought pattern, when I really focused on my actions, and what I realized was my actions were the only things that I could control. I couldn't control the results that were happening out there. But I also knew if I developed great actions, great profile of work and getting out there and connecting with people, the results would flow. And they did flow once I controlled the actions. So I knew that if I did the best I could, I was going to get the results that I deserved. So I got better at what I was doing. I became an expert at certain things. I started specializing in things that were really important, adding new capabilities to my life every year. So focus on your actions out there. An entrepreneur is really involved with doing the work, developing the work, and making changes to it, and not concerned about the results, because if you do the work properly, the results are going to flow for you. So actions matter, and it's very close to doing that. Egos, you know, this business has, my guess is, more ego than anybody else is, and any other business out there. And I think ego is healthy. I think ego can be unhealthy though for you. I think it's important for us to have a healthy ego. I know that, and I can tell you this, that I knew in my heart that I was special for me, and that I had to just find the lane that was really good for me, what I was good at doing. And I did find that, and I'm still finding that as I go forward. So have a healthy ego. Quit comparing yourself to other people. I often hear that people are concerned about what so-and-so is doing and that, and it's good to drive you. Competition is always good, but you know, we all have different stories out there, and keep your ego in check. Keep positive. We are blessed to work in this tremendous industry, to live in this incredible country and province, and what we're doing, and things will be okay. Just do the best you can at all times. And my attitude has always been, the belief is that I keep growing, keep contributing and keep making a difference to people, I'm going to get everything I want in my life. Everything's going to come my way, and it does come my way at all times. The other thing that I think is really critical, important, I learned this at a young age in this business, was that give yourself permission to fail. An entrepreneur doesn't really get overwhelmed with the sight of failure on there. And I've had a lot of failures and things I've done. Give yourself permission to do that. That means that you're capable of taking chances. Now, I would never bet the farm on everything, but I would bet my activity, my chances and things I'm doing on things, because I want to have the learning from different things on there. My best learnings in my business life have been from my failures. And I'm not suggesting you go out there and purposely have failures, but don't be afraid of having them. They're there. They're part of life. They're part of growing. And they're part of what we should be doing. Now, I don't accept failure. I will never be a failure. I will never get to that point where just because I failed doesn't mean I'm a failure. So rise above that. Know that you're not a failure, but fail. Okay, learn from the failure. Do what you have to do. And give yourself permission to fail. It's important. I think it's incredibly important. The best learning comes from that type of thing. The other thing that I know is that in my life, and my life as an entrepreneur, I guess, is that the journey has to be good. It's not just about getting the money. It's not just about having things. It's not just about all that stuff. And I know many of you believe that, but have this great journey of your life in this business. We're, as I said before, we're blessed to be in this business. But the journey of it is incredible and how we're doing it. It's not just the end result that matters. It's just as the journey of life and what the overwhelming gratitude we have from having the opportunities that we do right now. I guess I'm kind of preaching that way of the soft, I think many people can accuse me of being Dr. Phil-like, but I'm really, I live it. I mean, I have that belief that it's all okay. You know, if I do the best I can, I'm going to get everything I want in life, and that's true to me. If I treat people right, if I'm respectful of people, and if I always do the right thing, if we always have a saying that if you take money out of a problem and then make a decision, that's the right decision to make. And I've always tried to live that way, and I think it's important. I think that's this business is incredible for us. There's opportunities out there. I'm really much an optimist, and COVID has created different opportunities for us to grow, to be virtually on this stuff. But being virtual is great. Listen, that's fantastic. Would I rather be sitting there in front of you guys and having a conversation? Absolutely. But that's going to come back. I know it's going to come back. I know that we're going to have the face-to-face. We're going to have one hell of a party, I'll tell you, in this year, that we're going to celebrate. We're going to dance. We're going to hug. We're going to do all the things we want to do because we can. Because it's important to do it, because we've adapted, because we've grown. And I can't wait for that moment to happen, and it is going to happen. But I want you to actually get everything you can out of this journey of real estate and our business and our company, and know that we are behind you, know that we are doing everything we can to help you be a better you, whatever that is. And it's your definition of what that is. But I know that as long as I continue to be the way I am, hopefully you will actually, that will have some kind of impact on you and help you grow to be who you want to be. So my encouragement for you today is to understand that this is a great opportunity, this business we're in. Understand that we're all entrepreneurs at one sense, if we actually get out of our way to grow. I find so many people that, me included, that my biggest roadblock was myself and my lack of faith in myself and my lack of confidence in myself, and my ego got in the way and all that great stuff, or didn't get in the way. But we have a tremendous opportunity to make a difference for ourselves, for my family, for your family, for everybody out there. So my encouragement for you is to really get out of your way. Get out of the way of the negative thoughts, be positive about it. I think you all are incredibly positive, you're incredibly resilient. I'm so proud to be working with you. It's my privilege at all times to have that. Go out there and make a difference for your family, yourselves, and everybody else out there. So happy 2021. Congratulations on an incredible 2020. It was difficult. We did it. We're doing it for 2021. Know that there's no bigger commitment than I have and the people that I have in my life other than to support you and help you get everything you need in your life. So Take some chances. Don't be afraid of failing. Make a difference to people. Find your groove, find your lane that's really important to you, and connect with people, learn from people. I do that a lot now. At 41 years in the business, I'm learning something every day. I'm not going anywhere. I love this business. It's my calling. It's what I do. I'm privileged to do it. I'm privileged to work with you. I can't wait for the next 20 years. Have a great one. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being who you are.
Wow, what amazing speech. I know Ken for over 15 years, but amazing, amazing. Loved it. Thank you, Ken. And this is our finish line for today, but we are here to answer all your questions. But before we start your question, I just want to share with you, putting this together, it wasn't that easy for all of us. We got all the insight, ideas from the leadership team from Ottawa, Simcoe County. I can name everybody: Dan, Sherry, Ansel, Mark, Corey, Paula, David, Sam, Corey Silver, Barbara, of course, she was on the talk, Connie, John there, Sogol, everyone contributed to this event. And we put hours, but one person really put it together. And that's our amazing, amazing coordinator and producer team, Shant. So a big round of applause remotely, virtually for Shant. Amazing job. We owe it to you. Thank you very much, as always. We are here to answer all your questions. Any question that you have, type it in the YouTube chat or networking group. Shant and Quan and the rest of the team are monitoring them, and we will read all the questions loud, and we'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. We are here all for you.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much for that. By the way, that was awesome. All of you, actually, who was part of it. I have a question now coming from the Pelong group. It says, what advice can you give agents having difficulty finding and securing homes for clients looking in markets with record low inventory?
I passed this question to Barbara because she's the expert in training and coaching of our agent.
Well, that's interesting because I was just coaching someone last night around this very question. So record low inventory, this is a great opportunity to have a look back into expireds from the last few years, because a lot of those sellers would be very delighted to hear that the property values from when they were expired are actually increased currently. So that's one strategy. Certainly proactive is the best way to move forward there, and to pay attention to the Hallmark Facebook networking groups. Put it out there what you're looking for. Use Broker Bay, put it out there what you're looking for. You know, it's a tight inventory time for most of us. So the best thing you can do is to be proactive and just put those feelers out there. And if you don't already have a section on your website that says homes wanted, and especially if you have good traction on your website, if your buyers are under contract, you should be, or could be, promoting what your buyers are looking for right on your website, and get people trained to go there to see whether or not you've got someone for their home.
If I may add also to Barb, there was a discussion yesterday on a clubhouse that Sam Gani led. This question also was raised. Many of us, particularly now Pelong Group, they've been around for many years and they got a very large database. Jason, I would definitely tap into the database, and I will wonder, some of those clients that you bought properties for them years ago, they might be in the position of them maybe changing, upgrading, downgrading, moving a different location. So many of us, we have a resource center that we don't tap into it on a regular basis. So perhaps that could be an idea to tap in.
All right, so let's answer. Raha had a question regarding the SRS and ABR. Raha, stay tuned. Look up at trainingandevents.ca. Once these classes are ready and set, you will see them over there. The next question, I think it's for you, John. There, it's from Jennifer Dutton-Munn. She's saying, I am with the Lakeland board. How do I get added to BrokerLogic's CRM?
So the Broker Logic CRM, we are rolling it out board by board, Toronto Real Estate Board being the first board that will be rolled out. So if you are on a Lakelands, stay tuned. I'll reach out to you directly and we'll be able to add you on there. With every single board, there's a different set of data agreements. So it's pretty much just a process of getting the registrations done and then getting the feeds from the board. But it is going to be done on an individualized basis for boards that are outside of TREB, or Ottawa or Simcoe County.
Great, thank you, John. Next question comes from the Floyd team in Ottawa. And they're saying, did I hear correctly that there is an administrative service coming soon? What would that look like and what can agents expect these services to include?
Michael?
I can answer a bit of that. I know we have the formal announcement coming in February. Steve, do you have the specifics on what services are included in that? I know it's a lot of it. It would basically encompass all of the administrative duties that they would like to outsource. Anything specific?
Yeah, this was done based on the feedback that we received from many of our agents. Some of you have the ability of having your own personal assistant. Majority, they reached out to us that they said they could need additional help on the top of their own current assistant, or they require administrative assistant on case by case. So what we have created, which we will announce February 1st, a list of activities that the virtual assistant can do for you, such as, for example, broker loading, communication with the feedback, typing an offer, document management. We are trying to keep it very simple to all those administrative assistants rather than complex at the beginning to launch it. And we will see what will be the response from all the 5 regions, and then we will scale it. Currently, we actually have hired 3 virtual assistants, and we have created an a la carte menu rate, which will be posted on a website, which is the John that is working on that particular website. And the domain name that we registered, but it's not active, it's basically hallmarkvirtualassistant.com. So just to stay tuned, Glenn, for all the details. I'll be more than happy to talk to you if you wish after this and give you a little bit more details if you have more clarity or some other question that you need to be answered.
Thank you, Steve. Next question comes from Shelly Field. She says, I have a question about We Are Hallmark app. How does the Privacy Act affect it if you can give out all of the sold prices?
So that's a very great question. In fact, it is something that is addressed because we do have to remain compliant with all of these apps and programs that we create. Now, as all of us know as realtors, in order for us to be able to release sold data, we don't do so publicly. So we do so under VOW or Virtual Office Website Agreement. And so the app, the way it's designed, is the general public won't be able to see sold data unless they're actually logged in. And as a bonus, as realtors, with Hallmark, they have to choose you as a realtor to work with and log into their account in order for them to see sold data. So somebody downloading the app won't see sold data unless they actually log into the app. And this is done through a confirmation process, a registration process. And that's how we remain fully compliant with the board rules. Just as an addition to this, the boards are very strict. So this is not something that we've taken shortcuts on. We've read line by line every single agreement. And so we're fully compliant when we release this app to everybody.
Thank you, John. There's another actually Broker Logic question you might want to chime in. It's from Crystal Graham. For Simcoe County, Broker Logic show data for TREB listings will Broker Logic show data from TREB listings as well as BDAR when pulling comps for CMAs and market stats?
So currently the data feed is for TREB and BDAR. However, we are working with a direct BDAR data feed as well. But yes, that is the idea, is to have both of those feeds fully functioning. It does take time because the primary foundation of this entire program was based on TREB. And of course, the power of that is a very robust system. So every single board has different data structures, and that's what we're addressing. However, right now there is a BDAR TREB feed. There will be a BDAR feed coming up, but these are things that we'll be rolling out within the next couple of weeks.
And there's a follow-up question from Ashley Lyle. Will Broker Logic be able to host our current website, or is this an additional website we would be running alongside our own main website?
So BrokerLogic is its own separate website, and some have asked me on private messaging as well, is there a website included? Yes, 100% there is a website included. It's up to you. So what I've taught in various training sessions is that you could have as many websites as you want. You can have BrokerLogic website in addition to your other lead generation websites. BrokerLogic in itself is a fully functioning website, CRM, business suites. It's an all-encompassing solution. If you want to run other websites, that's up to you. If you want this to be your only website, that's up to you as well. But it is a website in itself.
Awesome, thanks. Michael, there's a follow-up question from the Floyd team regarding the administrative service. And they're asking, would this service include social media, as so many agents now rely on social media management for their business?
That's a fantastic question, actually, but it's not something we're rolling out in the first release of it. But I think it's something definitely we would have to take a look at in the next iteration of it, because it's something that is demanded a lot by our realtors.
Great, thank you. Next question, I believe, is for Steve from Jose Couture. Is there any plans for the next couple of years to open other physical offices while commercial rents are way down?
Remax Hallmark, it's always been a company forward thinking, Jose. So we are definitely in discussion and talk for further growth in the future. I can't confirm at the moment where or whereabout, but rest assured the Remax Hallmark attitude has always been growth, and expansion. And we will not rest until we reach our goal. And do we have any set and specific goal? Frankly, the sky is the limit for us. The leadership team is so energetic, so inspiring that we will continue going forward. There are opportunities with the now lower commercial rent in many areas, but you have to also consider all the factors. An office, a brick and mortar needs also its really logistic planning in terms of the number of the agent that has to be recruited and become a viable office. We will not open an office just only for the sake of opening an office. It has to be a viable solution for all of us.
Thanks, Steve. Next question comes from Matt Castleman and Ben Ferguson from Toronto. How is the current lockdown affecting showing and offer counts? Do we have an up-to-date broker bay count?
Well, perhaps Ken can answer in terms of the showing because he put it on his memorandum, and then I can talk about the broker bay. Ken?
Good morning, or afternoon now almost. You're asking Matt and Ben about has the recent lockdown pushed down the number of showings that are out there now, and compared to if we weren't under lockdown. Okay, so I don't have any hard numbers to share with you at this time. I know that showings or activity is way up. I have stories I'm hearing from different agents out there of how effective and how busy it is to 130 showings, 100 showings on properties like that. We are very clearly, as a company, mandating that we are COVID friendly and COVID secure on how our showings. We're not piggybacking on double showings on listings and things like that. So we ask you to be very careful with that. Do work virtually if you can. Our showings down, Matt, not at this time. I think our showings are constant. It's busy. I expect it to remain busy, but I expect it to be held the way it is right now, basically with COVID stipulations in effect. So, it's all supply and demand, really. There's not a lot of good quality listings out there that are lending to more competition. So once we get more listings on the market, which I think will come at the end of February when this lockdown is perhaps loosened up, we'll find more showings going on. So I hope that answers it for you. If not, let me know.
Matt, also adding to Ken, looking at the statistical with our broker bay and also showing time platform in Ottawa, we haven't noticed any major drop in terms of the number of the offers, the stories that we are hearing at the office meeting on a weekly basis. its market couldn't have a better start than you can ever imagine. And as Ken said, if the inventory level stays the way it is, it will get worse. And we are basically hoping that the inventory will increase.
Yeah, after the lockdown, I think it's all lockdown related on that, Matt.
Historically, it should, but make sure that you consider you follow all the protocol in terms of the showing and even offers.
Thanks, Steve. Actually, I'm just going to add that every Monday we release our appointment center activities. And from the newest numbers, the phone call activity and the showing activity has gone up a lot. It's like the past week, there was over 5,900 showings booked in all of our Ontario offices. So it's higher than what the previous ones were.
Thanks, Ken.
No problem. Quick question for you, John Der. Somebody's asking if the Broker Logic app and Remarketer are the same.
Yes, so Broker Logic is powered by Remarketer. And so some of you may have Remarketer CRM, the first product that we launched with them. This is significantly much more elaborate and much more comprehensive solution. Remarketer is the power behind our website, remaxhallmark.com as well. And we are going to continue to upgrade and add functionality to it. But yes, Remarketer is the company behind it.
Thanks, John Der. Next question is from Monique Mueller. How successful are virtual open houses for getting leads and selling the home? What is the best method to have a 2-hour window or for a longer period? I've seen agents do both ways.
Barb or Deborah?
I can make a little comment on it. I don't think my experience and the feedback I'm getting is that the actual scheduled virtual open houses aren't really that effective. They're not worth the effort right now to do it. I think you have to have a combination of different things, activity. You certainly need to do the videos of there and the FaceTiming and things like that. But the scheduled virtual open houses are the experience I've had, the feedback I've had. They're not as effective for the time that's spent on it. Could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
I think that if you are going to do them, you keep them relatively short. There's no way that you can possibly engage customers for a 2-hour period.
Yeah.
So doing a walkthrough of the house, pointing out the features, making sure you record it. You can always publish it again later on your sites, but I would keep them relatively short.
Yeah.
Barb, any tips from you?
Yes, because I did a class on this in our AIM 1.0 series early last spring, I guess we did that. So there's a variety of different ways to do these. You want to make sure that you have engagement. There's a few hallmarkers that are doing these very well. It really helps for people to see in your live feed that you're out there open housing and actively participating in the marketing of your listings. That's good promotion for you in terms of institutional advertising. To generate leads, it's always best to have something to invite people to. And I got this from a fabulous book called Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port. Always have something to invite people to. So if you're doing something live, make sure that you try and take that conversation offline with something exciting to invite people to. So, there's lots of great topics out there. I'll be running a session on this in February around how to get people from the online into an offline environment to have conversations like this. So really the open house live feed opportunity is to get people into a private room to have a special conversation with them, to get their information, to invite them to other events. That's really the key.
Perfect. And we're going to take one last question. I think it's both. Once it's Mary Jo Vradis and Matt Richting. I think they're kind of connected. I think it'll be for John there. Sorry. Who can we talk to more about Broker Logic? And Matt is asking, is there any more information about the REW website? I'm just trying to get a clarification about the REW website.
So we'll address the REW website. REW is our real estate webmasters. Remax as a corporation has recently partnered with them up here in Canada. And so you'll just stay tuned for the email announcements for that. We are reviewing it as a company as well to see if that is something that's going to be beneficial to our realtors. With regards to Broker Logic, itself. You can contact me directly if you'd like to ask any questions about it. I do know the system pretty much inside and out. Sunny has been great, and she's going to be providing assistance, and she's going to be spearheading the customer service experience of it. So virtual assistant at remaxhallmark.com if you'd like to reach out to Sunny. Some of you may have contacted Remarketer directly. This is a special plan. So this is something that only Remax Hallmark has access to. And so contact myself or Sunny if you have any questions.
In addition to John, their comment also, we are launching series of the training as of next week. So we will actually demonstrate, of course, via Zoom, how the system works. Just to stay tuned, it will be on the calendar. And then you can attend any of those training regarding the system before you sign up, so you understand how the system works and you make basically a wise decision in terms of taking this opportunity. Any other questions, Shant?
No, that's it, Steve.
Again, on behalf of the leadership team, thank you. And we look forward to another amazing 2021. And next week also, Remax Hallmark Market Report is coming out. We did fantastic. Congratulations to all of you for your outstanding achievement. And as Ken said, we can't wait till very soon, that we're going to have a very, very big party.
Very big party.
Big party. Trust us. And we are probably, I can tell you, I can give you some secret. We are already securing location at the 3 different regions, Toronto, Ottawa, and Simcoe County, for a big party. We're going to be the first one to party out all night. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thanks, guys. Be well.